You took the photo. It's good, the light's doing that thing, nobody's blinking, and for about a second you thought people would probably like this. So you open the app, you pick the picture. Your thumb lands in the caption box, and then you just sit there. You type something, read it back, it sounds like you're trying. Delete. You type something shorter. Now it sounds like you're trying to look like you're not trying. Delete that too. 40 seconds later, you close the app. The photo goes back to living in your camera roll with the other 9,000, and you go back to whatever you were doing. Nobody stopped you. Nothing was wrong with it. You just didn't. And your profile stays the way it's been for 2 years. One picture from someone else's wedding, and a lot of white space.
You've heard the theories about people like you. You're private, you're mysterious. There must be something you're hiding. You're the one your coworkers call hard to read. Somebody once told you your page looks like a bot made it. And underneath the jokes, there's a version you only say to yourself, usually late, usually scrolling, that maybe there's nothing up there because there's nothing worth putting up there. That everyone else is out having a life and documenting it, and you're the one with the empty grid. Let me take that one off the table right now. Facebook's own researchers once tracked nearly 4 million people doing the thing you just did with that caption, not what they wrote. Just whether they wrote something and then didn't post it. Over 17 days, 7 out of 10 people did it at least once. A third of everything people started typing never went up at all. That box you couldn't fill in has a very crowded waiting room. The empty profile isn't evidence of an empty life. It's evidence of a decision your brain makes so fast you have never once caught it happening. You make that decision several times a week. You've never made it on purpose. By the time we close this case, you'll know what your brain is protecting when it goes quiet, and why pressing post costs you more than it costs the people who do it all day.
I'm Cody, and today we're decoding why some people never post anything. Let's open the case file. Most of what's out there on this will tell you it's confidence. Post more, care less, be brave. That's advice for a problem you don't have. You're not frightened of the button. Something happens to an experience the second you decide to show it to people. Your brain ran those numbers a long time ago, and it's been turning the offer down ever since. 3 pieces of evidence.
Start with something researchers found almost by accident. Hand people a camera and send them somewhere good, a meal, a bus tour, a boat ride. They tend to enjoy it slightly more than the people with nothing in their hands. Taking pictures makes you look harder. You notice more. Then one team changed a single thing. They told some of the group their photos would be shared with other people afterward. Same day out, same camera. 1 extra sentence. The enjoyment dropped. Not because sharing is a bad thing, because of what that 1 sentence did to their attention. Once a photo has an audience waiting for it, you stop looking at what's in front of you and start looking at yourself from the outside, through the eyes of whoever's going to see it. You already know this feeling. You're somewhere good with people you like, and the moment the phone comes up, part of you leaves the table. Now you're the one deciding whether this looks like fun, instead of the one having it. There's a second charge on top of the first. When you photograph something to keep it, your memory hands the job over to the camera.
Museum visitors who photographed the art remembered less about it afterward than the ones who just stood and looked. Your brain files it as handled. Somebody else is holding this one. So posting was never free for you. It costs you the inside of the moment, and it takes a small bite out of the memory. Your brain worked out that exchange rate years ago. But the price of the moment isn't the biggest thing it's weighing. Picture a party. Not a good one, a very specific one. In the corner, your closest friends, the ones you can say anything in front of, including the things you'd never say out loud anywhere else. By the window, your mother and your aunt, who reads everything twice. Near the door, your boss, 2 people who report to you, a man who interviewed you once and didn't hire you. Against the back wall, 3 people you used to date. One of those didn't end well. And filling every other inch of the room, about 400 people you have not spoken to since you were 17. Now somebody hands you a microphone and asks you to say a few words about your weekend. Go on. That is what posting is. That's the actual room. People are built to say different true things to different people. You have a version for your friends, a version for your family, a version for work. None of them are lies. They're tuned. You adjust the volume, the detail, the jokes, depending on who's standing in front of you. You've been doing it since the playground, and you're better at it than you know. Social media takes all of those rooms and knocks the walls down. Researchers call it context collapse. Every audience you have ever had, standing in one place, reading the same sentence. And no sentence works on all of them. The joke your friends would love reads as unhinged to your boss. The honest one reads as a cry for help to your mother. The one that's safe for everybody says nothing at all, and everyone can tell. So you do what any reasonable person does when they're handed a microphone in a room like that. You put it down. That's the caption you couldn't write. There was never a right one to find. There's one more piece, and it's the one nobody says out loud. Think of the last thing you were genuinely happy about. Not impressive, happy. Now picture putting it up and getting 11 likes. Something drops, doesn't it? The thing itself didn't change, but there's a number on it now, and the number is small. Put teenagers in a brain scanner and show them their own photos covered in likes, and the reward circuitry fires harder than it does for the same photo with barely any. Same deep machinery that answers to money and food. So the likes are a real reward, which should tell you something about what it feels like when they don't come. And here's the part that ends people's posting careers without them ever noticing. You can't unknow the number. Once a moment has been scored, the score attaches itself to the memory. The trip becomes the trip that did badly. The photo you loved becomes the photo nobody cared about. You never agreed to put your life on a scoreboard. You just posted, and the scoreboard came free with it. Some people carry that lightly. They post, they shrug, they move on, and they mean it. And some nervous systems register that kind of feedback much more sharply. The same wiring that makes you good at reading a room makes you very, very good at reading a number. So your system does what any system does with a behavior that keeps costing more than it returns. It stops offering it. Not with a decision, with a shrug. You open the app to post something, and a small, flat voice in you goes, you've been calling that laziness. Look at it again. It's the sound of a calculation you've run so many times, it stopped meeting you. So here's where this case lands. You're not withholding anything. You're not above it, and you were never frightened of it. You're running a version of the software that counts a cost most people's version ignores. It notices what happens to a moment the second you aim it at a crowd. It notices what it's like to stand in front of every room of your life at once. It notices what a number does to something you loved. And it decided, without asking you, that certain things are better kept in the tense they happened in. That's the strength in this, and it's a real one. Your experiences stay yours. They don't get edited for an audience. They don't get graded. When you look back on your year, you're remembering the year itself, not the highlight reel you built of it, which is a different object entirely and has a way of becoming the version you end up remembering. The empty profile isn't a hole where a life should be. It's a life that never got uploaded. You don't owe anyone a feed. And if you want to post, post. Know what it costs. Decide it's worth it anyway. And that's a fair trade. It's yours to make.
One honest exception, because it matters. If the reason you stay off there is that you can't stand the thought of being seen at all, not just captions, but photographs of you, your voice, your name anywhere, and it's shrinking where you'll go and who you'll be around, that one is worth taking to a professional. It's a different case, and it has good answers.
For most of you, though, the empty grid is what it looks like from the inside. Quiet on purpose. So tell me this one, because I actually want to know. What's the last thing you almost posted and then didn't? And what stopped you? The caption, the crowd, or the number? Put it in the comments. There are far more of you down there than you think. And subscribe if you want more cases like this one. More quiet patterns we've all been getting wrong about ourselves. Case closed. For now. I'm Cody.